What's up, kitchen table wizards? What's up, deck brewers from all over the world? Are you ready for a Minotaur deck? Good, because then we will take a human, put a bull head on top of it, and we're going to brew a nice Minotaur deck. So, in this video we're going to brew a nice Minotaur deck in the colors red and black. And of course we're going to put some legendary Minotaurs in the deck. And I got my legendary Minotaurs from our sponsor Cardmarket, the best place to get your magic singles. And if you want to try out Cardmarket, you can do so by checking all the information in the link beneath the video. And I have some good news for you, because if you want to try out Cardmarket for the first time, there's also a €5 sign-up voucher just for you, for free, no strings attached. So here at Casual MTG Decks, the flavor matters. So before we start, I'm going to give you some information about the origin of the Minotaur. So there was this village called Minos where a king lived. And the king got old and he died. Now the king, he had 3 sons. And the oldest one, he wanted the kingdom for himself. So he went to the god of the sea, Poseidon, to get a sign from the gods to prove to the people he was the rightful heir to the throne. Yeah. Yes, something like that. Now Poseidon, played by Tassa in our story, he was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Let me give you a white, nice looking bull from the sea, and then the people will believe you are the rightful heir. But just one thing, you have to sacrifice the bull afterwards to honor me. Now the oldest son, he was really happy. He said, okay, let's do it. But he really liked the bull he got. That was a nice, white, muscular, beautiful bull. So he looked around in his cattle and he sacrificed another bull instead. Now Poseidon, Tassa, he was angry. You don't really mess with gods. They're indestructible. They always come back, so don't do it. So the god, he put a spell on the wife of the oldest son. She's called Pasiphae, but I call her Daisy. Now the spell put on the enchanted Daisy made her fall in love with the bull from the sea. You don't love me the way that I love you. Now I'm not making this story up, but I have to warn you, from here on, it gets a bit weird. Okay, back to Daisy. She asked for a local handyman to build her a wooden cow where she could get into, with the sole purpose of then seducing the white beautiful bull from the sea to do the hanky-panky with it.
Oh yeah.
And surprise, surprise, 9 months later, the Minotaur was born. Yes, I know, those Greeks back in the day, man, they were weird. So after this rather disturbing little story, let's look at the Minotaur deck. So this deck is around €30, $40. It's red, it hits hard, it's a bit weird because of the backstory, but it also is flavorful, and therefore first we have to take a look at the basic lands. The deck is mainly in red, and we only play black as a support color. So that's why we play more mountains and only a few swamps. For the mountains, we needed to take the dedicated Minotaur mace from Jumpstart. And as Minotaurs have big horns, this swamp also seems fitting. We also play one Forgotten Cave, as discarding is a small sub-theme in the deck. This is also the reason why I'm playing these lands that discard. Terramorphic Expanse is here to search for some lands. and it also has a great synergy with one of our legendary Minotaurs in the deck. But more on this later, let's continue with some lands. Akoum's Refuge is a dual land, but also Akoum is a place where a lot of Minotaurs can be found according to Magic lore. So a good fit both functional and flavor wise. And Smoldering March is also very useful in the deck. And this is a Minotaur deck, so let's also include one Labyrinth of Scophos. So these were the lands, now on to some mad Minotaurs. So this deck is mainly a creature deck. It's not super fast, but it is aggressive. Minotaurs, they're not too fast, that they're a little bit clunky, but they hit hard. So we only have 2 1-drops in this deck. They are called Gnarled Scarhide, an aggressive 2/1 that can't block. You can also bestow it on a creature as an aura for 4 mana. Next we have 2 Minotaurs that have something with discarding cards. Burning Fist Minotaur can discard cards for 2 to give it +2/+0, and the Bloodshade Brawler has you discard a card when it comes into play. But it's a 4/3 for only 2 mana. We have a few more 2-drops in Deathbellow Raider, a regenerating Minotaur, and Slaughter Priest of Mogus, a 2/2 which can get +2/+0 and first strike. So only 7 Minotaurs we have in the 1 and the 2-drop slot, and that means you don't have to feel bad when you play a tap land in the first turns. But at turn 3 the party is really getting started. Cursed Minotaur has 3 power and menace, and that's okay for 3 mana. And the Felhide Petrifier has Death Touch and gives other Minotaurs Death Touch. And this is great with this card. Neheb gives other Minotaurs first strike, which is quite nice with Death Touch. Now if you run out of cards, Neheb even gives Minotaurs +2/+0, and when it deals combat damage to a player, that player even discards a card. Pretty nice Minotaur if you ask me, especially now when you know where it's coming from. Maybe let's look at some other Minotaur lords. I play 2 Rageblood Shamans, which give other Minotaurs +1/+1 and trample, and 2 Rage Mongers. So this last one can make Minotaurs cheaper to cast with red and black mana. So you can play, for example, this Slaughter Priest for free. 2 aggressive Minotaurs are the Ancrop Captain, which has haste, and you can even exert it to make a creature unable to block. And the Spinehorn Minotaur is really great with all the lords, which increase his power and make its double strike very dangerous. Now we already saw some cards with this card, but this one really doesn't mind when that happens. This Glinthorn Buccaneer has haste and deals 1 damage to an opponent whenever you discard a card. Now you can also pay 2 mana and discard a card to draw 1, and you do this when this creature attacks. So he also synergizes with Merciless Javelineer, a 4/2 that can also discard cards to put -1/-1 counters on creatures, who then can't block. And as we play an aggressive red deck with a lot of red creatures, I think you can't leave out a Fanatic of Mogus in our Minotaur deck. Now this Minotaur is not really that impressive in the beginning. The Lord of the Shatterskull Pass starts as a 3/3, but it can get bigger when you level it up, and then it can become a 6/6 that does 6 damage to each creature your opponent controls. We play a Minotaur deck, so we need to include Mogus God of Slaughter. It's a 7/5 with Indestructible, and it's a creature when your devotion to black and red is 7 or more. And at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, it deals 2 damage to that player unless he or she sacrifices a creature. We also play another version of Neheb. This time it's a 5/4 with trample, and when it deals combat damage to a player, you may discard any number of cards, draw that many cards, and also get some extra mana for it. Now if you played Magic during the Terrace block, you probably know the aggressive Kragma Warcaller. It gives all Minotaurs haste and adds a +2/+0 bonus when they attack. So with all our lords, our Minotaurs can get over +6 in power, they get Death Touch, they get First Strike, they get Trample. It's really a great synergy, but wait, it ain't over yet. We can add one more legendary Minotaur lord. He is called Sethron. He makes tokens and he can give Minotaurs +1/+0 and haste and menace. We also added one Akoum warrior. It's a 4/5 with trample, but you can also play it as a land called Akoum Teeth. So now you will have an army of super cows. And when you have this army of super cows, you of course wanna slam your opponent in the face with it, destroy him in one turn, in one attack. And if that doesn't work, well, we have this one to help you with that. Moraug, Fury of Akoum, gives attacking creatures +1/+0 for each time they attack in a turn. And due to its landfall ability, this can be more than one time a turn. Very nice with the Terramorphic Expanse, for example, to attack 2 additional times in one turn. Now you already heard me talking about some mad Minotaurs in this video, and this is no coincidence. What do you think? I'm just throwing a bunch of cards together and here's the deck? No, no, no. I put effort in this. There's a method to my madness. With all the discard, having some madness cards in our deck is quite useful. And the best one is obviously Fiery Temper. So I added 3 copies of this Madness Lightning Bolt. As we play an aggressive creature deck, adding some madness spells that power up our creatures is never a bad thing. This Temper of Blood and Senseless Rage are 2 useful and flavorful inserts. The art on this Fateless Looting is almost as disturbing as our Minotaur story, but it's a great card to put in a deck anyhow, so let's include 1 copy. This is no madness card, but by including an Angrat's Rampage, we also add some solid removal and play tribute to our Minotaur Planeswalker. And with Murderous Compulsion, we also have another black madness card that deals with creatures of an aggressive opponent. 2 more cards in our Minotaur deck. Let's look at some artifacts. More than 20 creatures in our deck are red, so adding a Hazoret's Monument is quite good. It works great with our madness and activates our Glinthorn Buccaneer. This is a tribal deck. Now so far we don't have a lot of card draw, but this Vanquisher's Banner works great with our 26 Minotaurs in our deck. So if you're still here, that means you probably liked this video and you can show it to me by pushing that little like button. You can also subscribe to my channel and leave a comment, because people that leave a comment, I throw them in this nice hat, and once a week I put a name out of it and that person gets from me a €10 card market voucher. Like this week's winner, Michael Stabbings, congratulations. In the description below the video you can find out how to contact us and claim your voucher. And for that, this time I want some info. I want you to tell me which is your favorite Magic set ever. And next week I might tell you which is my favorite Magic set ever. So this was it. I hope to see you in our leaderboard soon. Check it out, we have some really cool matches there. And as always, keep it casual.